Time to clean up my music business with some gig soap.
Take me through the water.
Welcome to the Gig Soap podcast. Today is Nate Gregory, not Nick, Nate Gregory. How long have I known you? Long
At least
time.
a couple years.
They say this happens. Man, I tell you, I'm excited every time I get to do a podcast, but this one is super special to me. Nate and I have been friends and working together for, how old were you when we started? Do you remember?
It had to have been like 15 or 16. I want to say
15
probably
or
15.
16.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you're almost 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
When's your birthday?
We're just a couple months out.
Okay, awesome. Well, Nate, for those of you who live in Kansas City or are in the music world, you already know who Nate is. And but if you don't, we're going to give you just a little overview of Nate and where he started and where you're at now, where you've come from. I mean, you've just done some incredible things in this guitar world, from starting, school rock to playing in clubs to now you're playing in stadiums, and you haven't even gotten your 21, hit the age of 21 yet. So very, very cool. Hey, thanks for joining me.
No, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. So we'll work backward just at first. Right now you're out with May Estes. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with that.
Hey, it's been really, really fun. We've been we're getting ready to do like a month with Bryan opening. But then we did some with Brad Paisley this summer and Tracy Lawrence and Nashville McBride.
Yeah. Okay. Country guitar player getting the open for Brad Paisley. Right. How was that?
That was amazing. He was kind of my first, guitar hero, especially in the country.
Guitar crush.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of leading towards that because we met Robert Arthur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who has written a number of Brad's songs.
Yeah.
And we met him at the songwriting, and now you're opening for Brad. So how did that show go, first of all? I mean, how cool was that?
It was really cool. We got to do, that was the second arena I had done. That was cool. But then we did two others too, but it was fun. Especially it feels like a guitar crowd too. Like there's at least a couple guitar players out in the audience,
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and then you were telling me the other day, about sound check. You got to experience the kind of volume he runs through those amps. Yeah.
He's cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then you met him on his
Mhm.
bus. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
That was incredible. There's so much stuff I wish I would have said now. Like thinking back, if I could rehearse it.
Like what? What do you wish you would have said?
I wish I would have told him, because like the whole way I learned the hybrid pick, or like pick with the fingers, was learning his song "The Nervous Breakdown." And I wish I would have told him that,
Yeah.
but
Maybe he'll listen to this.
Brad, if you're listening,
Yeah.
that changed the game for me.
Well, I got a feeling that wasn't your only meeting. Not on the trajectory you're on right now. I mean, you'll probably get that opportunity, I would think.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, for sure. So, May Estes, at what point when you moved to Nashville, how long were you in Nashville before you got connected up with May?
I think it was about 6 months. Actually, I've been putting up today. 2 years ago was my first gig with her.
Okay.
But I guess it'd been about 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, and she's tearing it up. I mean, you've had the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, the Luke Bryan tour. I mean, all that stuff you mentioned, that's not small. I mean, we're not talking club, or we're not even talking mid-sized arena. You're talking full on arena size stuff on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think, I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of this, but I just don't think that they give somebody those size tours if they don't see what's coming.
hmm
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so, what do you think? I mean, you think it's going up, or where do you think
for
it?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you just hanging on.
hmm Hoping they keep me around, but yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, 2 years. I mean, if you've been around 2 years, I think you're good. Yeah. So, it was kind of tough decision for you, to move to Nashville to begin with. Walk us through that. What were your emotions on that? What was some of the deciding factors?
Well, I'd always kind of wanted to be in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
That, especially for like country guitar, that's kind of the place. But it had seemed like once it got closer, I kind of wanted to pull away from it a little bit. But what ended up happening was my current roommate, Dylan Johnson, who's also from Kansas City. I don't think we'd ever actually met, but he posted that he was looking for roommates, and I DM'd him, and I ended up like calling him. And like that night, that was in December of 23, and that night it was like, well, I'm moving to Nashville, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you and I've talked about this a lot, where moving into fear,
Mhm.
right? And you've gotten this point where if you're experiencing that, then that's usually you're taking that as a sign to lean into it. Correct.
Yeah.
Talk
hmm
about how that evolved. Where'd you come from to get there?
I think you helped me a ton with that, but then I also think just putting yourself in positions like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if there's anything, I actually had this conversation, like, because I did the Grand Ole Opry for the second time Saturday, and like, it's really cool, but that is definitely intimidating. It's not, it's not just another gig,
These guys
but
aren't slacks, are they?
no, but I think my muscle. Let me be there. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
But I think my muscle for like being uncomfortable and still performing under those conditions is pretty strong at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Just because even like 2 weeks ago we did a stadium. That was the first time I'd ever done that, and I wasn't the most comfortable, but I just kind of I feel like I've learned how to operate under those circumstances. But
Yeah, agreed. Well, and then that, before you moved, you were playing with Phil Vandal,
hmm
an incredible guitar player,
yeah.
and that was a good step for you. I remember we talked about, you got Phil's full set list, learned it
hmm
all, and then what happened?
But yeah, Phil never really played with the set list. It was always, and if it was pretty last second.
Yeah.
But I think that's one gig that I am so glad I had, because that taught me so much. Especially, uh, I think most of all how to be a side guy. That was the first time I was like truly a side man. I played rhythm a lot of it, and some of it was even acoustic. I think that was a good lesson too.
In
If
what
you
way?
maybe a hit to my 17-year-old ego a little bit.
Man, if you can rein that in at this age, you're in good shape.
Yeah, but
Some of us, it takes a little longer.
but and yeah, it was definitely a definitely a good step, and I learned, like you said, like how to really learn the parts to the songs, like because before I'd kind of like learn the intro and do whatever I want for the solo, but in Phil's band I would have to learn all the parts,
Hmm.
and and Phil hears everything too. There is nothing that happens on that stage that he doesn't hear.
So what was that like? I mean, when you knew that there was maybe something you didn't nail, was there ever a conversation about it, or how'd that work?
No, I don't necessarily remember ever having a conversation. I mean, I knew, and I think he knew I knew when I did,
Yeah, they didn't need to talk about it.
Yeah, no, I can't recall any time. But I do remember there was one. I don't know if we were talking about this, but I played with him in Las Vegas once, and I did. I hit a wrong chord on something, and I mentioned after the show, like, yeah, I messed up that one part, and he goes like right to that, like, yeah, like the second verse of like the third song or whatever,
Yeah.
like instantly right to it. Like there is nothing that he doesn't hear. So it was definitely like a you know different. Like not I don't know if intensity is the right word, but maybe it is. But than what I've been doing before.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you can look at your career, which is, even though you're the age you are, is still, I mean, you've had what a lot would consider a lot of amazing things happen in a short period of time, you know. But there's just all these increments in there that it seems like they had a lot to do with your growth.
For sure.
Yeah. What are ways you paid attention to those lessons so you did learn from them and didn't keep making them?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think just trying to make the most of every opportunity, maybe.
Yeah.
And and definitely we talked about this, like, what should I learn from this?
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess you're right. It's like I feel like I have kind of taken something from everything.
Yeah.
And that's something I feel kind of blessed of, like about what's happened. Is it seems like that every I haven't had too much come at me at once, yet at least. It seems like I every time a new opportunity comes, I'm just maybe not 100% prepared for it, but I'm most of the way there, and I can kind of figure out the rest of it.
Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. The so when you first moved down though, you were hitting Broadway a lot, right? I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
where your entry point, and I mean, were you just getting as much work down there as you wanted, or how'd that work?
Um. So I started off at where a lot of people start off at Tootsie's. They own like four bars down there, and they're pretty good about getting newer people into town. It's insane how fast that kind of scene, especially in those clubs, cycles. I
Yeah.
don't even think a lot of the people that I played with down there are even either playing those clubs or still doing. Everyone kind of it seems like one of those things where you branch out pretty quickly, but it's a great place to get started. So that's where
Yeah.
I got started, and then uh yeah, it wasn't long after that I started playing as it with May. It was only like 6 months or so. But
And how did that connection happen?
this is a wild you know, um when I was playing with Stephen Becky, uh a friend of his, Tyler Halverson, we had gone and seen uh play over at it's not even there anymore, the Wingman Kitchen, I think was it? Over by where Guitars and Cadillacs is now. And I met Tyler that night, and then went our separate ways. And then like 6 months later, he asked if I could play a gig with him in Nebraska, because Tyler, I should say, was living in Nashville at the time. And so I went and did that gig, and then kind of the same thing, hadn't seen in a while. And he had moved to Texas that same like week. And so when I moved to Nashville, I didn't even know that he was back, but he had moved back to Nashville from Texas. And so there was a couple weekends when I got here that he needed a guitar player, or I did a couple of gigs. But so I went and filled in a couple more times, and then it was actually Tyler who recommended me. So
To
that's
May. Okay.
yeah, that's
Nice.
crazy how that connection kind
Yeah.
of came up. But that it goes back. There's a lot of spider webs that go.
Right. Well, and he's got a pretty good career going now too. I mean, it looks like he's,
Hmm.
rising up about the speed of May. At least, I mean, I've just got an inquiry for some country stuff for some local corporate stuff here, and William Moore sent both May and Tyler over.
Hmm.
So I mean, looks like things are going well for him too.
Hmm. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it really is a good old boy thing down there, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know.
just friends and buddies.
Yeah. So, you know, treat everybody nice, right?
That's like
Respect.
we've talked about because there's some guys from Kansas City that are moving down here. Uh, and honestly, at this point, like, because I've talked to some of them, I don't even know what I would say to somebody moving down there other than just like, it seems like, and I don't, and I kind of believe that everything happens for a reason, but it seems like everybody's story is so different, and it's always some seemingly random thing that happens that, leads you down this path that leads to this, and then that leads to that,
Yeah. Right. But on the flip side, people do get stuck in on the Broadway, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, what is that? Because it's that's decent money. Is it? I mean, just because. What do you think that is?
I'd say that is part of it because uh, I feel like almost a misconception. I feel like I didn't know about this till I moved down there. Is that Broadway is a pretty good living if you can kind of get into that scene and
Mm-hmm.
get some good gigs. I mean, you can make some pretty good money, and it's definitely can be less secure and less consistent if you choose to go down the road. But yeah, I think as long as you have like a conscious, like, like, are actively like, okay, I'm not gonna stay on Broadway. I am gonna, try to be on the road. And as long as you stay focused towards that, I think you'll be fine. But if you definitely, it seems there is also a misconception that like if I play on Broadway, it'll lead to the road, which isn't always true. It's kind of more like Broadway gigs lead to Broadway gigs and road gigs lead to more road gigs.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that you did was super smart. Was you saved up a ton of money before you got there? Talk about that a little bit.
Um, I didn't even honestly realize I was saving up money. I was just
Just
playing
weren't
a
spending it.
but yeah, I was playing a ton back in Kansas and with Phil and over at Jerry's. So yeah, I did have a nice little uh pile with me when I moved there, which helps.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way you worded it to me was you had about a year's worth of rent.
Yeah.
What did that do for removing pressure on you to make different decisions?
Well, just not having, taking gigs that, mean something rather than just having to,
Yeah.
because that can happen too where people, have to stay in town to support their family because they can't afford to, take a lesser paying road gig even though that would be a bigger opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and you've stayed, at least as far as I know, you've stayed single too, right?
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. You got enough girls hanging up on that wall behind you. Do you name them?
uh, I have one now that I named Smokey. It's that
Smoking.
68 Telecaster because it's like yellow from nicotine.
Okay. Nice. Which is your main axe right now?
Probably that one.
That one. Yeah. That's your new Fender, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a 68 Telecaster. Mostly original.
What and I mean on the road, are you using amps? Are you using models? What are you doing?
It seems like it's different every weekend, but
Yeah.
I've kind of settled in. I've been using the Fractal FM9.
Yeah.
Or then I'll just sometimes bring like a deluxe reverb, and I've just got a pedal train junior size, just small. But actually, literally, on my way up to my room today, I got a package of the UA Audio Dream pedal,
Okay.
and I think I might switch to that for my direct rig over the Fractal, because the Fractal you have to have like a laptop to basically control it.
Okay.
And so it gets a little tough at like if you just need, to nudge one thing over and do a sound check or something, do like have to grab the laptop and plug it in and boot up and then, you know.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of that dream pedal. Did you try it out first, or did you just
I just ordered it.
again things you can do when you're single?
Yeah.
So, you know what? When it comes to you're traveling a lot with this group, right? So there's a lot of, And it's not just, I mean, you've done some dates with a lot of other people as well. What does it take to coexist and with multiple people on the road, stay friends? You know, what advice do you have on that?
I'm pretty lucky. This group is super easy. Everyone gets along.
Yeah.
I think just being mindful that there's other people around you, and just even when it gets tiring and tough, try not to be grumpy or nothing.
Right.
I will say, like I would always hear people talk about being a good hang and stuff, and that always kind of made me, feel a little insecure, whatever, because I'm not like I would consider myself the most outwardly social person there is. But I think truly what people mean by that is just, be easy to be around.
Yeah.
And especially, it kind of goes without saying, but not everything is gonna go your way. In a group of people, and sometimes, whatever. You gotta kind of go with the flow.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really grounded way of thinking of things. I mean, is that something you've always had, or do you have to develop that, or how did that come about?
I feel like I guess yeah. I just always try to be easy to be around. I think. And also, if you can be helpful too, 'cause I think that's also kind of the name of the game that we talked about before, is being top of mind. And if you showed up and you played great, and you were easy to be around, and you carried someone's amp back to the van for them,
Mm-hmm.
it's the little things that aren't really little at all. They're pretty big things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, I don't think we really realize sometimes if we're the ones doing it, how big a deal it is. But when somebody does that stuff for us,
Hmm.
he's like, oh man, that was, they didn't have to do that, but they did it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. All right. One of the things I know you and I've talked a lot about is enjoying the moments, because things are moving really fast for you right now, aren't they?
Hmm.
What does that mean to you when we say, how do you slow down enough to enjoy where you're at now?
Um, I wish I was better at that, but
We all do.
yeah, I guess yeah. Just try not to let anything pass me by. Which like I said, I wish I was better at that, because this past month I kind of feel like I have had some of that kind of go by, but just to take a second and like step back and appreciate what's happening,
Yeah.
because it's not normal, and especially like being in Nashville, where I know a lot of people who are doing like same stuff I am or bigger. It's like it's easy to feel like oh, going and playing an arena is normal, or a stadium, but it's not normal. Like
No.
not everybody gets to do that.
No, they don't. I mean, I remember many conversations with you about you having the next big step in your mind and just wondering how this was ever going to happen,
Yeah.
and this was like way more steps than arena
Hmm.
that. So man, talk a little bit about what that's been like. You hit a level of success in your career, but then you're just thinking, okay, what's the next thing I want to do? What's that meant to you?
I I do feel like I'm cursed in a little bit of that way, where I think I always am kind of thinking of the next, like, okay, what now? Like as soon as I finish one thing or check one thing off the list, I'm like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Or okay, I did this, now I want to do it again.
Right.
But yeah, it's been crazy. It seems like every time like I've hit something where I'm like, wow, okay, this is big. It seems like something bigger has come along.
Yeah. Are you able are you able to experience gratitude at that point
Hmm.
before you start thinking about what's next, or
For sure. I'd
yeah.
be I'd be lying to you completely if I said I never kind of I've looked back. Maybe I've glossed over some things, but yeah, I think so. Es- Especially this last weekend, before the Opry, my family was in town, and we went to the Opry Bar and Grill across the street the night before. and it's like very touristy themed or whatever. But going there is like, wow, this is really insane, you know,
Yeah.
like,
I'm not just a tourist here.
yeah, you know, again, I'm literally gonna play because they have screens that play old performances, you know, nonstop. It's like I'm literally gonna get to play
Yeah.
that stage tomorrow.
Yeah. I remember that. I think it was one of the first, might have been one of the first posts. Your mom might have posted it when you were on the Jumbotron. Do you remember where that was at?
Oh, that was in Las Vegas.
Okay. Was that with May?
Hmm. I
Yeah.
think we were opening for Lainey Wilson.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, when there's Jumbotrons and you're on it and it's not a Coldplay song, it's a good thing. I digress a bit there. So you know this in this idea of what's next. What is next for you? I mean, like you're playing stadiums. Is it where's your sights at now?
I honestly was kind of thinking that the other day, and honestly, for the first time in a while, I kind of don't even know. I honestly kind of haven't been even thinking about it, which I
Mm,
feel like is a really like good place to be in.
yeah,
I've kind of, you know, I'm I don't know why everything's come my way, but I'm sure glad it has, and I'm kind of just happy.
yeah. Well, you may not know why, but well, the rest of us know why. I mean, you're first of all, you know, when we first started working together, it was not because of guitar. You did not need my help in guitar. You know, you had plenty of other people helping you with that, but you were progressing so fast. It was just because I mean, your parents originally it was just they's like we see he's going somewhere and we don't know anything about this business. You know, what do we got to do to keep him safe? You know, help him make right decisions, that sort of thing. That's how it started. But you really stepped into a new level quickly of grasping what it means to be grateful, what it means to attract what you want into your life, you know. I
Mhm.
mean, not stress about it and have faith that it's coming,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, your demeanor right now is evidence of all that work you've done. You know what I mean? It's really cool.
You know, I'd be lying if I said and you know slip back and you know stressing about stuff or whatever. But you know,
We all
I feel
do.
like if there's anything I've learned is how to just like recognize it and kind of kill that whatever thought or feeling in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, one thing's for sure. You've got a whole city of musicians that follows what you're doing
Oh, man.
and is cheering you on. Um, I mean, honestly, on from a booking standpoint, you know, in fact, there was one today. I sent today. I said, you know, I was working on a date for May here for a corporate thing, and I told I wrote in the email said, here's all the things May's done, but here's another reason you might want to book this act. You know, and it said there is a huge amount of respect for Nate in this community, musicians, that's going to automatically help this date out just because of everybody following you along too, which I think is a valuable thing for any singer to have on board is somebody like you that's got the respect of a musician community and saying, yeah, I want to come see May, but I also want to come see Nate. You know, that's a really cool thing to have going on. But it's a nice job. Um, you know, you mentioned a little bit about, you know, because there are some local musicians getting ready to move down there, but you know, friends of both of ours. What you mentioned the advice of be nice, be a good hang. Is there anything else you would tell them as they're getting ready to make this jump?
I would guess don't lose focus, kind of back to like the Broadway thing or whatever. You know, kind of
Yeah.
know what you're here for, and you know, I feel like there is kind of some stuff like Broadway or other things that'll present themselves to you that you know can kind of try to pull you away from where you're trying to be. But I guess I'd say that and be patient because even you know even like I feel like some people would kind of roll their eyes at me if I said that because I feel like a lot of stuff kind of has my coming away. I've only been here for 2 years, but it it all feels slower than you want it to.
Right. Well, and I would add to that, learn to smile all the time like you do. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, even if somebody's mad at you, it's hard to stay mad. You're smiling. Man, I sure appreciate you being on here,
No, thanks for having me.
and we're gonna we're gonna put in the show notes all the ways that they can follow you and just keep track of your career and man, I'd encourage anybody listening just to comment on Nate's stuff and show him some love online as well. So
I
man,
appreciate that.
thanks for being on, Nate.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet.